news from yesterday was that the House Ethics Committee report on Matt Gaetz was released. Not leaked, but released. Matt Gaetz, of course, had been nominated to be Attorney General, the most powerful law enforcer in the country, but he had withdrawn his nomination because there's this information that kept coming out about him. And the concern was that he had stepped down from his position in Congress, in part to prevent this report from being released before having his congressional hearing for his nomination. But also the concern was that part of why he had stepped out of his nomination was to prevent this report from being released. Well, the report was released anyways, and it is damning, right? The evidence seems to suggest that Matt Gaetz has very possibly, allegedly, engaged in both immoral and illegal actions. So why is this important? I think for two very, very big reasons, in addition to these actions that Gaetz may or may not have taken. One, this report was not going to be released. When the House Ethics Committee and then the House as a whole had voted as to whether or not to release it, the Republicans had said, why do we need to release it? It's just a political attack, right? He's no longer a member of Congress. This doesn't need to be released. This is just Democrats trying to undermine a perfectly good person, right? And so the report wasn't released because Republicans were united against voting against it. But notice what happened here is this time the House Ethics Committee held a secret ballot. And that means that one Republican this time actually voted to release the report. So as soon as politics were kind of removed from it and whoever it was voting, they didn't have to worry about having to pay a political price for voting to release it. They thought to themselves, you know what? Honestly, this is probably something that the people should know. So the Republican accusation that it's Democrats who are playing politics and that these kinds of reports and investigations, like there's one that just came out about the Supreme Court that doesn't look very good, that these are all just politics and hack jobs and personal attacks, is clearly not true. Because what you see happen is as soon as Republicans feel like they can do it in secret and vote their own conscience, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, this is probably something that we should get out to the public. The other reason why this is very important is because Ron DeSantis, the current governor of Florida, is term limited. And who's probably going to be the next governor of Florida? Probably going to be Matt Gaetz. And why? Because even with this report, people really no longer vote based on who someone is, right? They vote on their party line. And people don't really pay attention to the news, so they don't really know what's in the report, and they're probably going to tell themselves, well, it's all just made up and it's all just a Democrat attack. So does the report even matter? I don't know.